The verse says in 1759, we refrain from sending signs. What's difficult to understand about that?
Yes, but that's talking about when they were asking for signs.
So, if Allah doesn't give him a sign and says that he's just a warner, what does that tell you? Did he perform miracles or not?
Yes, but that verse is talking about when they were asking for signs.
This is crazy. Y'all's Quran will say something very clear, and then you guys will literally go against it. What is that? Is there like something in y'all's drink or something?
Hello, amazing viewers. Welcome back to Religious Insight. In this amazing episode, a Muslim find out that Paul the Apostle was a much greater person than Muhammad in a debate with Godlogic. Let's watch this video to find out exactly what happened.
What up, what up?
What's good, bro?
Nothing much, man. Nothing much.
Right, so my question is, you claim Jesus is God, right?
That's what the prompt says.
But doesn't John 20:17 say otherwise?
No.
How?
It doesn't say Jesus is not God.
Yes, I know, but it says Jesus has a God. Yes, but Jesus is God, no?
Yeah, so when you have the Trinity, in light of the Trinity, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit share the same divine essence, so they're all God. Jeremiah 32 verse 27 says that God is the God of all flesh. So when the Son, who is also God, takes on flesh, that's when he submits himself, taking on flesh, and the Father becomes his God in referring to his flesh. Doesn't mean that he's not God anymore or a different God. It's just that as he as he takes on flesh, he takes on that position now where the Father is his God, pertaining to his flesh.
But you still didn't answer my question, though.
I did.
But in the verse, he says, my God and your God. You still didn't answer it, bro.
I just answered it to you. The reason why he can say that the Father is his God is because he's in the flesh. So when he took on flesh, the Father became his God.
So God said, my God and your God, according to you.
Say that again?
So according to you, God said, my God and your God.
Yep.
Yeah, man, that was my question, bro.
Well, yeah, that's what it is, man. He's still divine. He still has the divine nature. He's still God with the Father. But because he also has the human nature, a nature of flesh, that's when the Father becomes his God, pertaining to his flesh, though. So if you read on, like same chapter, though, like if you read on to verse 20, have you like read beyond that? Have you read the later verses?
Nah.
Have you ever heard of doubting Thomas? No? Okay. Well, if we just continue in John chapter 20, we're going to go down. Jesus appears to his disciples, right? This is after his resurrection. He appears to his disciples, but Thomas is not there. And so the disciples, they tell Thomas, hey, man, the Lord is alive. We saw him. He came to us. Thomas says, no, I won't believe him. I won't believe him until I see him. Okay? So then Jesus shows up to Thomas. He says, see, here I am. Here are my hands. Look, see? You see the holes? It's me. See my side? It's me. Right? And then this is Thomas's response to him. Thomas then answered him and said to Jesus, my Lord and my God. So Thomas calls Jesus his Lord and his God. Just a few verses later, in same chapter, John chapter 20. After verse 17, we get going. Thomas calls Jesus his Lord and his God. Now, does Jesus say, no, don't call me that? No, stop. Because I just told you I have to go to my God and your God. Don't call me that. I'm not your God. No, he says, this is how Jesus responds. He says, Jesus said to him, have you believed because you have seen me? Blessed are those who have not seen and yet still believe. So Jesus affirms what Thomas just said to him. He is Thomas's Lord and he is Thomas's God. But blessed are those who believe this even without having to see Jesus. So my question would be, why doesn't Jesus correct Thomas here and say, no, I'm not your God. I just said I have to go to my God and your God. I'm not your God. Why doesn't he correct him here and say, stop that? Why does he affirm what Thomas says, that he is his God? Why does he affirm that?
No, you got a point.
I don't know what's in the air, but Nas, I think you're good luck, bro. If you're still listening, you're good luck. Because of you, Nas, we're starting to get some honest Muslims coming in.
Oh yeah, I also want to get back about the Uthman burning the Quran, but didn't also other people memorize the Quran cover to cover?
Not really.
Yes.
Well, the question would be, which one did they memorize? Which one did they memorize? Because
Muhammad told specific people to memorize.
He sure did. And you want to know who one of those people were?
Go on.
Ibn Masud. Ibn Masud was one of those people who Muhammad said, boom, learn the Quran from this guy. There was 4 of them. One of them was Ibn Masud. By the way, the 4 people that Muhammad said you should learn the Quran from were not involved in Uthman's, rewriting of the manuscript, where he came up with the manuscript, the perfect copy. None of Ibn Masud and nobody else, Ubay ibn Ka'b, none of them were involved in getting the Quran right. Why don't you think Uthman included them?
Wait, included what?
Why didn't Uthman include none of the guys that Muhammad said you should learn the Quran from when he was burning the Qurans and rewriting the copy? Why didn't he include those guys to make sure everything was right?
Yeah, but didn't Uthman only rewrite the Hafs Quran?
No.
Okay.
So
You told me he wrote all 7 versions.
yeah, the hadith goes like this. He asked Hafsa to give him the manuscript that she had so that he can make copies of it. So, and even Hafsa was reluctant to give it to him. So Hafsa ends up getting the Quran from her and rewriting that copy into perfect copies, it says. So he rewrote it and then had all the other manuscripts that people had, he had them burned. Now, when he was rewriting it or had the people rewrite it, he had Zayd bin Thabit rewrite, Hisham, and 2 others that I don't remember exactly their names. But none of them were any of the 4 guys that Muhammad said you should learn the Quran from, right? Who memorized it cover to cover. Ubay ibn Ka'b, Ibn Masud, these guys like that. They were not involved in this. Why did he leave them out?
I don't know, bro. But still, surely if he changed anything, someone would have said something.
They did.
Who did?
Ibn Masud, for example. Ibn Masud disagreed with what Uthman did and what he was doing. And he even told his students to not turn in their Qurans. He told them to hide their Qurans from Uthman. Don't turn them in. That's what he said. Now, why would somebody...
You still didn't answer my question, though. Surely if he changed something, someone would have spoke up.
Uthman, Ibn Masud is speaking up. He got beat up for it.
Yes, but he didn't say you're changing the Quran.
But he's saying, why would I go after that Quran, after what they've coming up with, when I know more than they do? I've learned directly from the Prophet. I know exactly what it said. When Zayd was a little boy.
Wait, what hadith does it say, whatever you just talked about?
And nobody refuted him. Yeah, let me get that.
Yes, the Prophet Muhammad predicted the headphones, yes.
Or it'll take me a second to have to find it. I used to have it say, I don't know what happened to all my stuff, man. But if anybody remembers that hadith number where Ibn Masud tells them to hide their Qurans because he knows more than Zayd and stuff, go ahead and give that reference. And what happened to all my stuff? This doesn't make any sense. But
do you know the number of the hadith?
I don't remember it. That's why I just have the stuff saved on my phone. But man, I lost a lot of stuff, and I don't know when. I don't know when the stuff got deleted. But I used to have it all. I used to have all this type of stuff saved. I put it in an album called "Hide Your Qurans." But so this is what I would say to just progress the conversation. That you do clearly see differences even today. Thank you, Jamiat Tirmidhi 3104.
Like?
It's a bit of a long one, but it's Jamiat Tirmidhi 3104. So if you want to look at that one later on, you can. Jamiat Tirmidhi 3104. Okay.
3104.
But yeah, so we have clear differences in the Quran that we look at today. Clear differences,
Like?
And within the text, like between the Hafs Quran and the Warsh, for example, or Hafs versus Kalun, or Hafs versus...
Yes, but they all have the same meaning, no?
No, a lot of them change meaning.
Okay, give me an example.
Okay. So in the Hafs Quran, in chapter 37, verse 12, it says in the English, "But you wondered while they mocked." Allah speaking to Muhammad when he recited the revelation to the disbelievers and they mocked him. Verse 12, it says, "But you wonder while they mock." Right? The word is ajabta. Ajabta.
Yeah, ajabta and ajabtu means you wonder.
No, ajabtu means I wonder.
No, bro, I speak Arabic. Ajabtu means you. You wonder.
No, ajabta means you.
Bro, they both mean the same thing, bro. Yeah.
No, they don't. Come on, man.
Arabic is...
Come on, brother. Come on, man. I've been through this so many times. I've even spoken to a sheikh about this. Another sheikh besides myself.
Wait, I got a question for you. Why do you guys trust Paul? If Paul was known as a murderer, he was known as a thief.
Where does it say he was a thief?
I'm pretty sure there's a verse that says, I steal from the churches to...
Where does it say he was a thief?
I don't know, somewhere in the Bible. I don't know the verse exactly.
No, it doesn't. There's nowhere in the Bible where it says that Paul's a thief.
Okay, what about him when he used to persecute the churches?
What happened when he was on his way to persecute the church? What happened?
Oh no, I'm asking you. That's why I'm asking you.
He converted. He was on his way to persecute the Christians, and he had a vision from Jesus and converted and started spreading the gospel. So he claims to have had a revelation from God that completely changed his view. To now, at first he was an enemy, but now he's an ambassador for Jesus. He's a warrior for Jesus. But wouldn't that be somebody that you could trust? Somebody as bad as him changing for the good. Isn't he trustworthy?
No.
Really?
Yes, he could have just pretended.
He could be just pretending? That's true. He could be just pretending. But if he's pretending, then his actions would show that, right? However, his actions show that he actually genuinely had a conversion because he stopped persecuting the church. Not only did he stop persecuting the church, but he went to the apostles to affirm his revelation that he got. So, and the apostles approved it. But not only that, not only did he stop persecuting the church, not only did the apostles approve of his testimony and his revelation, but God showed that he was approved by him by doing miracles through Paul. Paul did miracles. Like healing the sick, healing diseases, casting out demons.
Okay, but I could see the same logic. Why would Muhammad lie? Yeah, why would Muhammad lie? What is he going to gain from that?
Women, money, power. Paul.
Yes, but we all know what he done with his money.
Yeah, he gave his wives homes, and he supplied his army to go out and pillage neighboring lands to make them Muslim and threaten others to become Muslim, or else he'll take their land. So you have Paul who in his conversion and by this revelation doesn't get women, doesn't get power. He actually gets put in jail and actually gets unalived for his preaching. And what was the other thing I said? Women, power, and money. He doesn't get money. He needs charity and help from other churches and ministries. In fact,
yes,
he's working as a tent maker.
Yes, but can I not say the same? Muhammad's uncle died. He saw his own family die. He fought in war.
Wait, that has nothing to do with it. Let's actually break this down. Okay? So Muhammad's revelation, was it approved by other messengers and disciples?
No, but I'm pretty sure the Christians at his time were expecting a prophet.
They wasn't. So you have Muhammad, who was not approved by other apostles and messengers. So no witnesses, no approval. Paul got witnesses and approval by the apostles and messengers. So that's one. Paul 1, Muhammad 0. Let's go next. What did Paul gain by becoming a Christian, by converting to Christianity and preaching the gospel? Prison, beaten, character defamation, people coming at his character, accusing him of things. Did I mention prison? Because he was in prison a lot. Torture and beheading, death, right? Paul gained no women, no women, none of that, right? So Muhammad, he was able to get power, took over Arabia by claiming to be a prophet, get more believers, get more power. Then you're able to conquer people. So was able to conquer Arabia through his prophethood. He was allowed to marry any believing women that offered themselves to him. That's chapter 33, verse 50 of the Quran. He gets whatever woman he wants. And money, that he got a large percentage of the war booty. That's chapter 8 of the Quran. So money, women, power, Muhammad gets, Paul doesn't get. Paul 2, Muhammad 0. Number 3, Paul was proven that he was sent by God and that God did miracles through him. Did Muhammad do any miracles?
Yes.
But the Quran says he didn't.
Yeah, Allah split the moon for...
It doesn't say that he did it through Muhammad. It says in the Quran that the moon splitting is a sign of the hour. It doesn't say Muhammad did it.
Yes, but many people witnessed the moon being split.
Like who?
Like his companions.
Where?
Bro, we have narrations, bro.
Right, okay. So you have hadith that say Muhammad split the moon.
No, I never said Muhammad split the moon.
Yeah, you did.
When did I say Muhammad split the moon?
I asked, did he do miracles?
Yes, the moon split at his time.
Did Allah split the moon through Muhammad?
Allah split the moon.
Like you know how You know how Moses split the sea? How God split the sea through Moses? Moses putting the staff in the water, and then boom, did God use Muhammad to split the moon? Like, did Allah tell Muhammad, hey, man, raise your hands to the sky and the moon will be, and I'll split the moon, as a sign? Like, did he do that? Anything like that?
Honestly, don't know.
The answer is no. The Quran is clear, bro. The Quran says that Muhammad is just a warner. That's it. He's just a warner. And it actually goes even further. This is chapter 17, verse 59. It says, we refrain, this is what Allah speaking. We refrain from sending signs because they disbelieved in the signs of old. So Allah says in the Quran, we're not going to give these people a sign because they disbelieve the signs of the past through the other prophets. So we're not going to give Muhammad a sign. These people don't deserve it. They'll just disbelieve anyway. But you're just a warner. So the Quran says Muhammad didn't do any miracles. If you go in Hadith, I'll be honest, I can tell you this. If you go in Hadith, it'll tell you Muhammad did miracles. But then you have a problem. If the Quran says no signs were given to Muhammad, but then you got Hadith that's saying that Muhammad did signs and miracles, what do we go with? There you got the Hadith directly contradicting the Quran. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense, bro?
No, not really. I gotta see the context of that verse.
What doesn't make sense?
May you see that again?
What doesn't make sense?
No, I just said I don't know. I gotta see the context of the verse.
The context is they're asking Muhammad for a sign. In chapter 17, verse 59, Allah said,
Your mic's on mute.
the verse says in 17:59, we refrain from sending signs. What's difficult to understand about that?
Yes, but that's talking about when they were asking for signs.
So if Allah doesn't give him a sign and says that he's just a warner, what does that tell you? Did he perform miracles or not?
Yes, but that verse is talking about when they were asking for signs.
This is crazy. Y'all's Quran will say something very clear, and then you guys will literally go against it.
Yes.
What is that? Is there like something in y'all's drink or something? And nothing stops us from sending signs except that the people of old denied them. And we sent the she-camel to Thamud as a clear sign, but they did her wrong. And we sent not the signs except to warn and to make them afraid. So what keeps Allah from sending signs to Muhammad is that the people disbelieve. Nowhere in the Quran is Muhammad a miracle worker. Matter of fact, all over the Quran, Muhammad is just a warner. Allah didn't send any signs to him. They even go so far to say, why hasn't anything come down to you like that of Moses? Why hasn't nothing come down to you like Moses did? Moses received miracles. We saw, God appeared to Moses. So Muhammad's not even a prophet like Moses. Out goes Deuteronomy 18. Huh?
Yeah, man, I gotta do my research on that.
So far, all three, Muhammad 0. So when Muhammad has no witnesses to his revelation, no witnesses and no approval by other messengers or apostles, Muhammad doesn't have any miracles to prove that God is with him. And Muhammad has a lot of worldly things to gain, money, women, power. He gets a lot of benefits in his prophethood, while Paul doesn't. Here's another thing. Did you know that Muhammad was bewitched?
Yeah.
Muhammad was bewitched. Paul was never bewitched. Matter of fact, Paul casted out demons and healed people who were bewitched.
Yes, but Allah sent down on him Surah Al-Falaq and Surah Al-Nas when he was bewitched.
The fact that you believe a prophet of God who's supposed to be protected by God can be bewitched is crazy.
Yes, he does. He does get protected by God. He gets protected.
How is he protected if he was bewitched?
Yes, Allah sends down on him Surah Al-Falaq and Surah Al-Nas.
But how is he protected if he actually gets bewitched? If he's protected, he wouldn't get bewitched in the first place.
Yes, he gets protected after.
So he wasn't protected at first.
No, that's why Allah sent down Surah Al-Falaq and Surah Al-Nas.
Do you know what the Quran says about people who get bewitched? Like, for example, bewitchment, you would agree, is the power of the devil, right?
Bro, but I literally just answered your question, did I not?
No, you didn't.
Yes, Allah sent down 2 surahs protecting.
Okay. So Allah helped him after he got bewitched.
Yes.
Let me ask you this. You agree that bewitchment, witchcraft, are the powers of the devil, right? Let me show you what the Quran says about the powers of Satan. Who can be subjected to the powers of the devil? This is chapter 16. I'm going to start at verse 98. It says, so when you recite the Quran, seek refuge with Allah from Shaitan, the outcast. Verily, watch this. He has no power over those who believe and put their trust only in their Lord. So Satan has no power. His powers won't work on those who trust in Allah and believe in Allah. Watch this, verse 100. His power is only over those who obey and follow him, and those who join partners with him, with Allah, those who are polytheists. So according to the Quran, the only people that can be overcome by the powers of the devil, where the powers of the devil could work on them, are those who follow the devil, those who follow, and those who ascribe partners to Allah. Those are the only type of people that the powers of the devil can work against. Muhammad was bewitched. The powers of the devil worked against Muhammad at least for a time. So that means that Muhammad falls into the category of those who followed Satan, at least for a time, until Allah helped him out.
Wait, what chapter was that?
Chapter 16. Chapter 16.
Verse
98 to 100. Specifically 100. Satan's power is only over those who obey and follow him. Muhammad was bewitched. The powers of Satan worked against Muhammad. So therefore he was a devil follower. He followed Satan. What's that, 5? Muhammad's 0 for 5 right now against Paul. No witnesses to his revelation, no miracles. He gets worldly gain from being a prophet, money, women, power. He was bewitched, and while Paul casted out those who were bewitched, had power over witchcraft, over the powers of the devil. And 5, this would prove that Muhammad was a follower of Satan because the devil's powers worked on him. Muhammad doesn't compare to Paul. Here's another one. Paul met Jesus. Muhammad didn't meet Jesus.
No, Muhammad did.
Muhammad met Jesus?
Yep, they prayed together.
Oh Lord, have mercy.
But didn't Paul see Jesus as light? And then in the Bible it says the Satan disguises as light.
No, he didn't see Jesus as a light. He saw a light that blinded him. When he saw him, but he met Jesus. No, it's not. Anyway, so do you see how Muhammad has nothing on Paul, bro? No miracles, bewitched, succumbed, overtaken by the powers of the devil, no witnesses, no apostolic witness and approval, money, sex, power, influence, all granted to Muhammad through his prophethood. So much to gain.
Wait, what about Muhammad's prophecies?
You still want to make a case for Muhammad after all of this?
Of course, bro.
Why? My question now is right now for you. In light of what we just went over, why don't you trust Paul, and why do you trust Muhammad over Paul, who clearly is better than Muhammad?
Because Muhammad came with proof. Bro, Muhammad came with the Quran, he came with prophecies.
And Paul came with quite a few books in the New Testament. He came with prophecies, miracles.
Okay, but I thought only God knows the knowledge of the unseen. So
you just prove that Jesus is God because Jesus says in your Quran that he knows the unseen.
Yeah, God could give him the knowledge of the unseen.
Oh, okay. Muhammad was illiterate. Paul wasn't illiterate. Paul knew the scriptures. Muhammad didn't know the scriptures, never seen them because he was illiterate.
I got a genuine question for you. How do you think Muhammad prophesied the stuff he did?
He didn't. He didn't prophesize nothing. Can we keep going?
Yes, he predicted the headphones.
You said that with a smile. Muhammad predicted headphones.
Yeah.
You know what he also said? He also said that sperm will survive within the womb for 40 days and 40 nights before it becomes a child. Where do
you get that from, bro? You just made that up.
You're right, I made it up.
Where does it say on the Quran?
No, I made it up, bro. I made it up. But if he did say that, that would be crazy, wouldn't it? That would show that he's false, right?
Did you not just say Quran?
No, I didn't say Quran. I said Muhammad said.
Oh, my bad.
But if Muhammad said that, that would be crazy, right?
I mean, if it's, bro, are the source is authentic? Is it a da'if hadith?
I'm not asking. I'm just asking if Muhammad said that semen lasts in the womb for 40 days and 40 nights. That would be crazy, wouldn't it?
I don't know, would it? Bro, I'm not a scientist, bro.
And clearly neither was Muhammad. By the way, guys, I was joking. I didn't make that up. Muhammad really said that multiple times. If Muhammad is over here lying...
Oh, come on, you gotta show me source at least, bro.
Why? What's the point?
Because maybe you're taken out of context.
Nothing that I show you, bro. Everything that I show you, you're just gonna have an excuse for it. You've already shown that you can't be honest. So, it's just, there's nothing here for us, man. There's nothing I can do for you, nothing you can do for me. To you be yours. May the Lord guide you, man. But now you know that Muhammad can't even untie the sandals strap of Paul's shoes. He's not worthy. Now you know. So whenever you ask a Christian, why Paul over Muhammad, you know now. The question should be for you that you're thinking of, as I let you go, is why Muhammad over Paul? Why are you choosing someone who's so obviously a false prophet, someone who's bewitched, someone who didn't do any miracles, someone who got money, women, and power from their escapades and for them saying they're a prophet? Someone who had no witnesses to their revelation, no approval by other messengers or apostles. Why trust this person who goes against the teachings of Jesus and the apostles and the prophets, who contradicts them at every turn? Why go with this person over Paul, who's the opposite? That should be your question, all right? Take care.
Alright, welcome back, guys. That was very amazing, very educating moment. Share your thoughts, what you were able to learn in the comment section. Don't forget to share our videos with your friends, your family, and also don't forget to like this video as well. A Muslim is somebody who reads the Quran, but an ex-Muslim is somebody who understands it. A truthful Muslim is already an ex-Muslim, because you cannot be truthful and be in this religion. According to Islamic sources, Paul was one of the messengers that Allah sent to Antioch. The story was copied from the Acts of the Apostles and other New Testament books. Yashin chapter 36 verse 14 says that 2 messengers were sent who were rejected, and that the 3rd messenger was sent to reinforce. According to Ibn Kathir 36 13 to 17, the first 2 messengers were Simon Peter and John, and the 3rd messenger that was sent to Antioch to reinforce was Apostle Paul, who they called Bulus, who was sent to Antioch for this reinforcement. But modern Muslims think that Paul contradicts Jesus because they realize he prophesied the coming of the Antichrist that perfectly described Muhammad. So you can see that these guys, to me, they don't read their books, because if they read from their sources, some of the statements they make, they wouldn't have made them, because this is their sources saying that Paul was an apostle of Jesus who Allah sent. If Allah sent him, then how was he not an apostle? God chose Paul to spread the gospel to the Gentiles. People should stop trying to justify their corrupt scriptures by talking down about Paul. God is not the author of confusion, and that is on period. I find it very interesting when Muslims seem so confused when they are confronted with their own scriptures. If Paul was such a liar and so dishonest, wouldn't you expect him to live out the path which were going to be detrimental to his image? But he didn't do that. The only logical conclusion here would be the one in which telling the truth about what happened and being dishonest and leaving it out isn't exactly going to get past God. So there was no point of him leaving all those details about his past life when he already know that God already knows his heart and he was truly called by God. I'm so skeptical. Every time I hear a Muslim says I got to do my research on that, I get the feeling the research they are talking about is going back to their imam who lied to them in the first place. This is the saddest part. Just few of them actually do the research themselves. Most of them go back to the imams that have confused them all their lives. So guys, thank you for watching. Share this video, subscribe. I'd love to see you in the next episode.